Hey everybody, Zach First 19 here, back with another Movie Members Monday. It's going to be for a movie that I do have a physical version of, but it's not on a traditional standard DVD. Well, it is, but it's not the individual DVD and it's not the individual VHS or Blu-ray. So this movie is what was it? Like a guilty pleasure for me. It wasn't my favorite of the three films. It is my least favorite of the three. It is the Rugrats Go Wild movie, and it is part of this triple pack. I'm not sure if you can even see this in view. It should be right around here. This Rugrats Go Wild was when they Rugrats meet the Wild Thornberrys, because I believe it was created by the same people, which were um, right, Gabber Supo and Arlene Klasky, the original creators of Rugrats. I believe is the one who created the Wild Thornberrys. Now, both shows are really good separately. That movie, though, is honestly the weakest of the trilogy. There's some good things about it and not so many good things about it. So the good things about it, the animation's not bad, but it's still not as good as the original two films. I think that Rugrats Go Wild's animation, though nice, has some 3D elements that they added into the movie because it was like, 2003 movie? I think it was 2003. Yep, 2003. I was right. 2003. That movie's now 22 years old. Yikes. But yeah, that movie though wasn't the greatest. I personally thought the storyline was kind of boring, to be honest. It's a guilty pleasure. The reason why I think it's a guilty pleasure is I still like the Rugrats characters and I like the Wild Thornberrys characters. I like Tommy, Chucky, Phil, Lil, Angelica, well, mostly. Susie, Dill, Kimmy. Am I forgetting any? I think it's the main cast. But it says, let's see, the Rugrats' family vacation takes on an exotic detour when they become shipwrecked on a deserted tropical island along with the Wild Thornberrys family. When these two families get together, the excitement really starts. Is pretty much what it says. It was also a movie that had the scratch and sniff card in the theaters itself. I don't recall if I've seen it in theaters. I believe I've seen Rugrats 1 and 2 in theaters, which is, the first movie, and then Rugrats in Paris, which are much better movies. 3, Go Wild has some good elements. The animation's not bad. It's good, but it's not amazing. It doesn't seem to have the same kind of hand-drawn animation that I really like from the first two films. It seems like it's a little bit too bouncy, a little too animated, while the original one seemed more tame, more calm. The animation doesn't seem too bouncy and too wild. And the characters of the movie don't act like themselves normally. At least, especially to me, because it seems like a lot of the characters are kind of more harsh towards Stu, even more than usual. Especially Chaz and Kira. Kira is a nice character. I love Kira as a character. She really is one of my favorite characters of the series, besides in terms of the adults. Because I really like her. I like Stu and Dee Dee. Obviously, like Grandpa Lou and Grandma Lulu, which I don't think she was in this movie. She was in Rugrats in Paris, but she was not in Go Wild. But anyways, like her character seemed a lot more harsh in comparison. But I do like Kira. She's still nice in this movie. But it wasn't until I think when they got into the shipwreck on the island is when she said, "I wish I would have never left Paris," which is a very non-characteristic thing for her to say. For the way how much she cares for Chaz and Chucky, you'd think that she would have never said that line, especially if you've seen Rugrats in Paris, the way that she is very caring for them. It was just very uncharacteristic of Kira, and that was kind of surprising. I think the movie itself is still fun. It still has some good elements. I like the scenes where their tiny little boat kind of has pretty much is about to be destroyed, and they had to escape onto a little soft like a blow up boat that Betty found in the water. Now that scene was pretty funny. I like that. Let's see. The parts I do like was when Debbie and Angelica actually kind of become a little bit like mini rivals and at the same time friends because they are very similar to each other. Except for I think Debbie's a lot nicer of a character. Especially if you've seen the Wild Thornberrys, you could definitely tell that's true. Angelica has her rare moments when she's really nice, but it's pretty darn rare. Rugrats in Paris was definitely a good example of a good one. Same thing with the episode I think in the series when Susie was making these Reptar bars, and Angelica was actually at the end being very nice to her. But what was it? Try to remember. So also Bruce Willis is the one who starred as Spike in the movie, and it's weird to see him and hear him talk at all. I think some of the scenes with him are funny. The voice kind of fits. He's energetic, I guess that made sense. Though I just don't know how about him talking at all, just for the sake that he's a silent character. He's a dog. I mean, yeah, I get the scene of Eliza gonna have to talk to animals, but I just wish it wasn't Spike. I wish it would have been something else, maybe. I don't know. But I also did like the scenes of Donnie, which is the like pretty much the Tarzan of the Wild Thornberrys, and his scenes, especially when he was attacking the cheetah, absolutely hilarious. Oh no, it was not a cheetah, it was a leopard, and what was it? Pretty much like him like using the stroller as like a weapon, and he roars towards it. It was absolutely hilarious. I like that scene. I like the music that happens when the leopard is chasing the Rugrats, and Donnie's trying to help him. Try to remember what else. There was a scene. Oh yeah, also the scene where Chucky defends a little monkey, and helps him to get a little piece of fruit or something like that. But he lost his glasses, and it was just funny to see Donnie kind of interacting with Chucky, kind of mirroring him and kind of messing with Chucky a bit. Um, See, I think the endings and the scenes where Nigel got hit in the head with a coconut and lost memory temporarily, and that scene, those scenes were hilarious though with him, to be honest. But Nigel was a great character in the show, and in this movie he was still pretty darn good. I liked his character a lot in this movie. But then they had a weird random moment when they're in the ocean and they happen to find a giant squid that doesn't have any relation to the story. Really weird. The beginning part of the movie also, when it's just showing Tommy and the kids having a little adventure pretending to be Nigel Thornberry. A lot of that scenes were hilarious. And when he's like, "Get to the truck," and they start doing that running, and animation that they chose for them to run is absolutely hilarious. Um, I don't know. It's a guilty pleasure movie. I do like it in most ways, but I'm still say it is the least best of the three films. The first one is definitely my second favorite, while Rugrats in Paris is my absolute favorite Rugrat movie, and possibly up there is one of my top favorite movies of all time. Rugrats Go Wild. If I had to give it a good rate, if I had to give it a rating, I'd say it's. I'd be kind of being nice if I say it's about 6.5 out of 10. It's good, but it's not perfect. I'd give it that score, and I know a lot of people, fans included, didn't really care for that movie, and I could see why. It's not that great. Definitely not in comparison to the first two. Like this, like something I did. Songs on Rugrats Go Wild were a little overboard. They weren't bad for per se. Some of them were decent, but none of them were really fitting of the movie. Because at least in the first and the second film, they actually played part of the story itself and fit the scenes perfectly well, especially Rugrats in Paris. I know I'm making a comparison to its prequel films, but they are better films to me. Rugrats Go Wild has nice animation, some really funny scenes, okay songs, and the characteristics of the characters are mostly fine. Just some harshness towards Stu and Kira not being the exact same. Um, but it was just an okay film. Nothing amazing, but I can watch it many times as I need to. Really, I do think it's an okay film. I'm going to eventually probably get the VHS tape copy because I have 1 and 2 on tape. I'm going to get the third one on tape eventually. And I don't know, not much else to say besides it just being an okay movie. It's been out for 22 years this year, and it's not my. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I know Rugrats in Paris turns 25, and I'm going to do a mini video someday on that this year. But definitely excited to. Well, not excited, but if you haven't seen it, you can get these movies very cheap. There's the VHS copies that you can find that aren't. They're not cheap, but they're also not too terribly expensive. I think maybe roughly $8 to $15 or so for a sealed copy. For used one, maybe about $5 or $10 for Rugrats Go Wild. Or same thing with the original two films. They're very easy to find on eBay, and the same thing with some thrift stores. If you have some thrift stores near you, check to see if they have any VHS tapes. And Rugrats ones are very easy to spot. Orange cases for the movies, especially. And the Rugrats of Paris. I'm not Rugrats Paris, sorry. The Rugrats Go Wild movie on DVD is pretty easy to find. You can get on this triple set for about, I think it's like $8 now, $7.50 is how much it costs at the moment. And then you can also get the Blu-ray set, which is out, which I'm going to eventually get. I'm going to eventually get a Blu-ray set. I just keep forgetting about it. I know I probably shouldn't, but I probably should get it. I was kind of hoping maybe they do like a 25th anniversary for Rugrats in Paris in 4K. But anyway, tell me comments below what you guys are girls think of this about this video. What do you think of Rugrats Go Wild? I think it's a pretty okay movie. I think it could have been better. I think they honestly could have done the stories a lot better with these two franchises. But it was their last attempt, pretty much their last hurrah with Rugrats before it was gone for good, because I think All Grown Up was already out by that point and it wasn't doing the best, I don't believe. But which of the three is your favorite? Rugrats, the first movie, and Paris, Go Wild. I personally don't think Go Wild is that great. It's a guilty pleasure. That means I like it, but I don't think it's a good movie that much. But see you guys next time, and God bless. And sorry for all the stuttering.